What's up, everybody? This is Fred Richani of TSC News with another special Walking Dead edition. On this episode, we're going to throw it back to our interview with actor Vincent M. Ward, who played Oscar in TWD. He is Vincent M. Ward, aka Oscar of The Walking Dead. He is the working actor's working actor, doing his thing. Now, he's still fighting zombie apocalypses, even though he was kicked off the show, or I should say killed off the show. Sorry, I should have said spoiler alert. What the hell happened in LA, man?
Oh, man, I don't know what's going on here, man. We got fires, we got earthquakes. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a tornado soon. So I don't know what's going on, man. I think people don't know how to drive and running into stuff as well. So sorry I have to do this from my cell phone, but all the power and stuff is off right now. Sorry.
And it literally went off like 2 minutes before I called you, right?
Yeah. No, I take that back. It was probably about an hour, so I was flipping out, and I had to download Skype onto my phone and all types of stuff. But, you know, I made it happen. I didn't want to disappoint anybody, so I'm here.
Hey, well, we definitely appreciate the time. Now, of course, you are most famous for being on The Walking Dead as Oscar. Personally, and I'm not just saying this because you're on right now, I did feel like you could have been on the show a little bit longer since you showed some great character depth. That's all right. You made the most of the opportunity. What's this last year been like for you, now being known as Oscar, not just Vincent M. Ward actor?
Oh, man, it's been great, man. You know, going out different places, and, you know, a lot of times people don't know your name, so they just call you your character name, Oscar. And I've gotten to the point that I turn around, hey! And so...
Now, with The Walking Dead, I mean, a lot of people die. I mean, if you've seen Breaking Bad, I mean, a lot of people die in Breaking Bad as well, but it's a little more gradual over time. Whereas The Walking Dead, it's like one day, you know, hey, I like this Oscar guy, you know, next episode, like, oh crap, he's dead. How'd you feel when they told you that Oscar was getting killed off?
Well, you know, at the beginning, they tell you about how many episodes you're going to do. But in the same breath, if a lot of shows be like, well, you're going to be on here maybe 2 or 3 episodes. But if they like you and the fans like you, sometimes they'll keep you longer. It's just like with my man Irony, T-Dog. I think he was only supposed to do 2 episodes. Well, he ended up doing, what, 2.5, 3 years? So you never know. You never know. A lot of times it's up to the people. And so, you know, I really felt like after a while I had done something to make them keep me around a little longer, but, you know, I guess I was wrong.
Hey, it is what it is, man. But you definitely made the most of the opportunity. And one thing that's pretty cool in this day and age, and has been for a few years now, is the development of, like, the whole convention scene, you know, Comic-Con, Wizard World. I mean, man, there's like a convention almost every week going on around the world. Have you had a chance to experience that convention scene?
It's absolutely bananas. I love getting out and meeting the people, sitting there at the tables and stuff, man, just doing the meet and greets. Actually, yesterday I did something for Days of the Dead. My first convention this year be at Days of the Dead in Atlanta, February 7th through the 9th, and they was doing like a documentary, and we were at a cemetery yesterday doing the interview. And unfortunately, the security guy came and made them delete everything we had just talked about.
Oh my God. Now,
yeah, so I mean, it's all good. We'll do it again, and I don't mind. It's part of the job. It's part of the career. If you don't have time for your people, then you signed up for the wrong job.
Of course, and with all the conventions and everything like that, you said that was your first convention. I mean, you realize that's also a new revenue stream, or a relatively new revenue stream for actors like yourself. I mean, there's guys that, you know, were on for a cup of coffee in Breaking Bad or all these other places, and they're making a killing on these conventions. Are you happy with that whole scene? I mean, it's pretty cool, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's definitely cool, man. I think it's more than just making the money too. It's interacting with the people who, like I said before, supports you. And I was so in shock my first convention. It was last year in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And I was just in awe. I couldn't believe all the people that were there. And like I said, I never even knew that side of the business. So, but I'm glad that I'm part of it. And I get to see some people that I haven't seen in a long time. You know, when I met George the Animal Steel, man, I couldn't believe it. I was just, and Rikishi, you know, people from the wrestling WWF world. So it's definitely you can be a fan yourself. I'm not too big that I can't be a fan of somebody else's.
And you said the magic word wrestling. We actually cover a lot of pro wrestling on this channel. Are you a wrestling fan?
Oh man, I go back, like you said, the days of The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. To me, those was the best times and the most entertaining times. You know, with the Undertaker and you know, Vince McMahon when he was strutting down the runway, and Shane McMahon. That's when I really loved it.
Man, do you?
And even going back, Mr. Wrestling #2, the Super Destroyer, the people with the mask, Coco Beware, and you can never ever forget, woo, the Four Horsemen, baby. Ric Flair would always be my man.
Man, they don't make those wrestlers like they used to. Do you still watch today, or are you one of those disenchanted fans that just wishes it was still like it was back in the day?
I wish it was like it was back in the day. Sometime I might, you know, come across it or whatnot, but it's there. Everything today is extreme. You got to be extreme this. You got to be extreme that. So I just like back in the day with Tully Blanchard and Arn and Ole Anderson, Ric Flair, the original Four Horsemen. That's what I like.
And did you hear about their network announcement at all? Did you hear about the WWE network announcement at all? How it's like they're launching a network in a couple weeks. It's a full online streaming network.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I can believe it, but because you know that it actually give more guys opportunities and ladies to wrestle because they're gonna need a lot of people because you know a lot of people say that wrestling is fake. But people get hurt for real. Those injuries are serious. You know, to do that every day almost and put your body through that. So if it's stream all day, then it's going to be a lot of people to get jobs. And that's important.
And likewise, do you think it could create jobs throughout the entertainment industry? Because not just WWE Network, but say WWE Network succeeds. And you saw with Netflix, I mean, Walking Dead's like, besides Breaking Bad's like the most popular show on Netflix. That's how a lot of people are catching up on the seasons. You got House of Cards. You know, Robin Wright just won a Golden Globes. If WWE Network succeeds and Netflix continues to have successful series, do you see more opportunities open up for actors like yourself and maybe maybe other networks saying, hey, let's try this online digital thing?
Oh, most definitely, because they've actually been producing movies for some years now. You know, Vince McMahon is a genius. I don't care what people think about him. I mean, he puts his name behind stuff. And also a lot of these wrestlers' names or nicknames, he owns them. So, you know, it's money to be made for up and coming people and people like myself. So,
and you have a really oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, man. I was about to say, Vince, call me.
Call him, Vince. Now you have a really interesting story, my man. I mean, you were a standout athlete, you know, especially at basketball, and I mean, it's just I could kind of tell the story in a nutshell, but I wouldn't do it justice. Can you tell people how you got started in acting? I find it really interesting.
Once again, you know, I would say I didn't pick it, it picked me. I was working at a factory in Dayton, Ohio, got hurt on the job, ended up working at a shoe store, Champ Sports, in Dayton, ended up being the #1 salesman. Moved to Columbus, Ohio, became the #1 salesman there. One day the GM came and said, how far you want to take it in this company? I said, I would like to have a position like yours one day. A couple of weeks later, I was fired. I was told by my director, whatever I told to the general manager, that's the reason why he had to let me go. A couple of weeks after that, went and saw my very first play. Had never even seen a play ever in my life. I just ended up falling into that. Went in there and I told myself that day, I said, I can do that. A couple weeks later, they had auditions for that same play company, went and auditioned, got a part. And a few weeks after that, tries to call me back and give me my job back? Champs. And I told him no. I found something that I love to do. So I see the path of me getting out of Dayton, getting out of Columbus, and now being here in Los Angeles, California.
And what a great story. Now, you were also a standout athlete, and I believe you could have even gone pro in basketball, but you had another gig that was pretty damn good at the time, right?
Yeah, man. I was a dancer in a rap group. Me and my dance partner, we used to win all the dance contests back in the Midwest. I'm 6'4", he was 6'5", and we called ourselves night and day. But nobody can outdance us. And what happened is we joined a rap group, and we would open up shows for like Public Enemy, Salt and Pepper, Special Ed, big groups, and we were touring. So, being a high school basketball star, you get letters from every college. And I was also nominated a McDonald's All-American with Chris Webber and Jalen Rose and them back then. But I didn't want to go straight to college. I wanted to tour my rap group. And we was actually signed to the same record label as Vanilla Ice, Itchabound Records, back in Atlanta, Georgia. So from there, after a couple of years, my mom got a call from a coach in Chicago, from a university, from a college, and asked if I still play ball, and she said, yeah. I left the rap group and went back to school. So that's how it happened.
And performing with all those groups and everything, did that help you at all when you went into acting? Because I would imagine, pressure. Hey, you were recruited by all these colleges, all these scouts. You got to perform with all these big stars. Did you still get any nerves when you were acting?
You know what? Yeah, of course, I still get nerves. But I think I've always had the entertainment blood in me, because I was the type of guy, I would dance on the basketball court after I did something, a huge dunk or a pretty pass or something like that. So by me having an entertainment blood in me, I think it sort of ran over into my acting. But I still get nervous, but I think it's more of I'm ready to do this nervous than I'm scared to do this nervous, right? Because I've been patient and I'm ready. I'm ready.
Definitely. Now, are you ready for some fan questions? Because we got a number of them here.
Sure.
Okay. This one right here from Jay George. I am an aspiring actor, done a couple movies, but nothing big time yet. I'm just wondering, what rookie mistakes should I avoid as an actor?
Rookie mistakes that you should avoid is wanting to do everything. You're not obligated to do everything. One thing that I've learned that your time is more precious than anything. And a lot of times people will be like, oh man, hey, Jay, come over here. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. And then they won't even, not only they won't feed you, hell, they won't even give you something to eat. That's the least people can do, is give you something to drink and eat when you're on the set all day, especially if you're doing an independent film, or give somebody some gas money. My thing is, I always say, be ready so you don't have to get ready. What I mean by that is have your headshots together, have your business card with your updated numbers and emails. If you're fortunate to have a manager or agent, have them contact them, because sometimes as an actor, we just want to do it all. And it's not necessary to do it all, because you might say, okay, I'm gonna do this for you. And then your agent or manager be like, oh, no. You have something else that's gonna pay you. And it's not all about the money. It's all about connecting and networking, but you still have to be smart about your business. So that's what I would say.
And I actually have a follow-up question about that, because I saw your website and your resume and your reel, and your reel's pretty tight. How important is it to have great representation and people that really look out for you? Because I see it all the time when I'm covering, particularly combat sports guys, like boxers, mixed martial artists. It's like they don't have real managers and publicists, when obviously that's pretty helpful.
Well, you know what? A lot of stuff I do on my own. You can't wait for somebody to live your dream. You have to live your dream. Just because you have an agent and manager, that doesn't mean that you don't have to go out and do it. Go out and pursue it and get stuff on your own. But what you do is, once you get it, you connect them with your people. So everything, the contracts and everything to be done right. Like a lot of stuff that's on my reel is not from my agent and manager. I've changed agents and managers over the years. It's just up to you if you want to deal with them basically sending you out for the same roles. It's just like me. That's because I'm big doesn't mean I have to be the bouncer and security all the time. I can be the father. I can be the love interest. So, just make sure your business is done right and have your stuff together. Have your reel together. Just because it's something small, never think like that, because that small role, you might look good doing that small role. Never put on your reel a part that's the person that you're doing the scene with is out acting you. Never do that.
That's true. And you mentioned typecasting. Have you lost any roles because you straight up said, you know what, man, I'm better than this. I don't need to be typecast as the bodyguard or inmate all the time.
Well, you know what? I have new management and whatnot, and I tell them from the get-go, we're not doing that. I'm not doing the 5s and 5 and unders. I've been a bodyguard security on every show, and that you have to strive for better. Sometimes people do those type of roles all the time, and just because it's like they just want to say, yeah, I was on that or I did that. To me, you're attention. Don't sell yourself short. I have a new saying, and it's called, why not me? Why not? Why I can't be the doctor? Why I can't be the lawyer? So strive to be better and dream bigger. So you don't have to continue to do the same roles all the time. So I tell my people up front, I'm not going to do it. And it's not being disrespectful, or it's not about having an ego. Sometimes, I've been in the business for a minute now, and you have to put your foot down, or else people, they just keep seeing you as that same security or bouncer.
Well said. Now, I understand you had 5 parts on Everybody Hates Chris. How'd that work out?
You know what? I was Terry Crews's personal stand-in. And a stand-in is like a person who's acting like Terry. I'm basically doing his lines, getting the lighting together, getting the sound together. And so a lot of times we would have co-stars or guest stars on the show. And a lot of times the people that were the stand-ins were better actors than the people that they hired. So they got to the point like, why not hire our stand-ins to do these parts? And so that's how I ended up being so many different characters on this show. But I'll tell you this, I remember our 4th season, and we didn't know if we was gonna go into the 5th season. And Terry Crews took me to the side, and he said, if we come back next season, I don't want you to come back as my stand-in. He said, because you're too talented to be somebody's stand-in. And I told him, thank you. I told him, thank you. And I also said, but I wasn't coming back next season to be anybody's stand-in.
That's a hell of a praise too from an accomplished guy like Terry Crews, man.
Yeah, Terry's like my brother. Him and his wife used to come to my plays or whatnot, and it made me feel good that they respected me as being on the same level as them without me having to say, I'm on the same level as y'all. And honestly, I think I'm the only stand-in who had a stand-in, because a lot of times I would call off because I was out doing my own thing. Once again, just, the stand-in, okay, yeah, I was getting some checks to pay some bills, but in the same breath, my mental and my drive was bigger than me just being a stand-in. I already knew that I'm supposed to be right where you are, and I'm supposed to have a stand-in.
Yeah, now, with Terry Crews, I mean, it's interesting. He kind of had the same thing going for him at the beginning of his career, too. I mean, every time he'd just be the token big jack dude, have the funny line, and then he had, of course, the lead role in Everybody Hates Chris, and you got a bunch of other opportunities. Do you kind of see yourself kind of mirroring his career a little bit and look at him as an inspiration? Because he was a guy that could have stayed doing those roles and probably gotten 100 of those roles, but he would have never really progressed his career and taken it to another level.
Yeah, it's just like I was watching him, the new show he's on, the 911 show, and they won a Golden Globe the other night. I was very happy for him. But honestly, my mentality is not I would like to win a Golden Globe, but my thing is I want an Oscar. I want a role that's deep, that's juicy, that people be like, you know what, that dude, he's a great actor. And that's where I'm at right now. I just don't want to do something just to be doing something. I want to do something that's going to mean something to people.
And Right here, Jeff asks, you're a baller. Who's your favorite NBA team, and why is the Eastern Conference so bad?
The Eastern Conference is so bad because the Western Conference is so good. I'm from Ohio, man, so I have to roll with LeBron James. LeBron, not only is he a great player, but he's a great person. Yeah, everybody was mad at him when he made that decision to go to Miami, but sometimes life is about choices, and you have to make the best choice for your life and for your family's life. He couldn't continue to sit in Ohio and not win a championship.
Will Daryl Dixon ever run out of arrows?
No, he won't, because a lot of times after he shoots a zombie, he goes and takes it right out of him and puts it right back in his bag. So no, he won't run out. He just shoot it and reuse it.
All right. Is the governor really dead?
Oh, I have no clue. Once you're off the show, you don't know anything. And honestly, I watched the last 15 minutes of the last episode, and that was the first time I watched The Walking Dead this year.
Wow.
So, yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I saw that he got stabbed, and then they showed him get shot at. That's it. Yeah, if that's the case, I could say the same thing about Oscar. They showed him get shot, but then they showed him get shot at. So who knows?
Hey, maybe it's a swerve like pro wrestling. I mean, we saw The Undertaker, right? Didn't he get buried by Yokozuna once, and he came back? So if The Undertaker had come back, Oscar would come back, right?
Hey, we'll see. And I want to say this. You know, it's this petition going out about bringing Oscar back season 5. First of all, anybody at AMC, Robert Kirkman, anybody. I didn't start the petition. The people started the petition. You know, I don't want anybody to be like, oh, he just wants to get back in the show. He's dead. You know what? My thing is, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. I'm just like the billboard that they have up right now. Don't look back. I'm not looking back. You know, my focus is forward, and everybody's focus should be, you know what? No matter what I did in my past, it has to be a better future, and that's how I'm thinking. It's a better future for me. If they welcome me back, you know what? I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna give 100%, just like I've always done. I've never leaked out anything because that's not me. I'm not the spoiler alert person. And honestly, I didn't watch the show before I got on the show. So don't think just because they killed me off the show that I'm not watching it now. I didn't watch it before. I respect it more. I respect everything that's going on, but I'm not going to kiss anybody's ass to get back on anything. And that's just being 100% real with you.
No, I appreciate that. Now, we talked about your past, and you've had a very interesting past, but what do you got coming up for the future as far as films and other projects?
Oh, man. Well, you can catch me on the new season on Psych. The show is Someone's Got a Woody. Very funny episode. I'm shooting a pilot right now called Mirror Mirror. I'm doing a play. Gosh, there's so much stuff going on. What's the name of the play? Secrets. I'm doing a short film called Spotlight. I'm doing another pilot called something about the city, entering the city or something like that.
Oscar in the City.
And I like that. Live in the city, and just doing some auditioning and stuff like that, and getting in shape, you know, for the ladies, and working on like a campaign, like you know how Billy D. Williams was with Colt 45 or whatnot. So you know. Something like that, keeping it smooth.
Keeping it smooth. And you're a pretty jacked dude. Did you ever think about, besides basketball and football and baseball and, of course, being an actor, did you ever think about being a pro wrestler? Because, I mean, you do have the physique, you do have the size, and guys your size do get more chances than guys that are, say, 5'10", 5'11".
Hey, man, I thought about it. Like they have, when I first moved here to L.A. and back in 2000, 2001, you know how they had like the little wrestling leagues or whatnot. And I came up with all these different moves and different names for the moves, but I'm not doing that, man. That stuff hurt, man. I remember being younger, this older guy put me in a sleeper and he almost killed me. He almost choked me to death. So, no, I'm fine on that.
And I'll get you out of here on this. When this person asks, who is your biggest inspiration, and what piece of advice can you give anybody that wants to be in your shoes and become a success?
My biggest inspiration has to be my parents. You know, just seeing all the stuff they've gone through in their lives. My dad worked at GM. My mom's a nuclear medicine technologist, both of them retiring, and also being foster parents, and seeing these foster kids leave their homes and coming back year after year, thanking them for really being parents and not being, no, thanking them for treating them like part of the family and not just a paycheck. You know, I've always said I want to put myself in a position so one day that I will be able to take care of my parents, because they've always been there for me and I've always loved them. So they'll always be my inspiration. And for anybody out there, just inspire to be great in whatever job that you have, you know, inspire to do better. You know, at Champ Sports, yeah, I wouldn't mind having a position like the general manager. You know, why not me? Why not you? You know, I do want an Oscar one day. Why not me? Sometimes you just got to say, why not? But in the same breath, you have to rise and grind and get up every day to do something to better your life or better somebody else's life. Because, you know, you might help somebody and they might come back and help you later on. But you never do anything like that with a hidden agenda or do something for somebody to get something in return. Just do it from the heart.
Well said, my man. That's awesome. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure talking to you for nearly an hour. I wish you the very best and everything. Fans, if you want to find him online, at Vincent M. Ward on Twitter. He is the people's champion. Just don't tell The Rock. Although, you know what? Maybe you do want to tell Dwayne Johnson. Maybe he'll say, you know what? Let's get in the ring, you know? WrestleMania?
No, I'll just be in there and be the guest referee like Mike Tyson back in the day.
That sounds good. And you can check him out also on VincentMWard.com. Do you also have a Facebook page?
Yeah, Vincent M. Ward.
Very nice. Easy enough. My man, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure.